Hi, everybody. It's me, your yoga teacher at SAMI, and today we are going to be doing a yoga sequence to calm the nervous system. So what does that mean exactly? Well, the thing about our nervous system is that it is tied to our breath quite a bit. You may notice, for instance, when you are in a very stressed out situation, like if you're having a panic attack, that you might even kind of hyperventilate. And so if you can notice, though, when you are feeling more calm, or even just when you're more tired and sleepy, your breath is the opposite of that. So what this means is when you're more stressed and you're hyperventilating, for example, that's a more extreme example, you're not really exhaling as much as you're inhaling. Whereas when you are more relaxed, you tend to be able to really feel into your exhales a lot more. And so our purpose here today, as we practice through our yoga poses, which are really the same ones that we have been doing, and they're mostly just the basics, we will really be trying to also feel into our exhale. So always keep that in mind with whatever we practice today. Notice when you're inhaling, and then notice when you're exhaling, and then see if you can feel more into the exhale to see if you can deepen it or lengthen it. But also don't feel like you need to force it. So for some people, the way their breath works is just, it may be harder for people to access the exhale. And so don't feel like you need to immediately force your breath. That also wouldn't be very good for you. But we're actually going to start with a little bit of that breathing exercise before we do any actual yoga poses. And so I want you to take your hands together out in front of you. And on an inhale, we're going to go ahead and open up the hand. And then on exhale, we're going to close them back together. So just continue that, inhaling and exhaling. Trying to sync up your breathing with the hand movement here. And this is a cool little self-regulation trick I learned from David Trey-Levin, who wrote the book Trauma Sensitive Mindfulness. So inhaling and exhaling. And then you may consider changing your hands a bit to be with the breath, so that the breath is a little bit longer and deeper. So you may open up a little bit wider. So inhaling and exhaling. Maybe just a little bit more here. A few more times just like this. And what we're doing here as we're playing with the breath and with the length of the breath, especially in the exhale, we're trying to give ourselves a chance to be into rest and digest mode. Let's do this 2 more times. And then we'll go ahead and release. So playing with the breath there, that is a tool you can always use throughout your time, just whenever you're feeling like you could use a moment to really help bring yourself back into the present and with your breath, and then also a little bit of a tactile element to it that makes it easier to say ground or do the activity. than just to focus on the breath alone. And so always a tool you can use. So we're going to bring a little bit of movement into our bodies now. So sitting up nice and tall wherever you are, we're going to reach the right arm up nice and long, reach your right arm up nice and long. Then finding length through the fingertips, go ahead and lean over towards your left. Really feel into the stretch through the side of the body here. And then go ahead and find your way back to center. Left arm up nice and long, reaching up, finding length, leaning over towards your right. And then coming back to center. Now we're going to add more movement. So we're going to start with the arm up. When I lean over, first side here, you can go ahead and exhale and open into a half cactus arm. And then inhale, you can bring your hand towards the floor. It may touch, it may not, for a little bit of a twist here. And then you're going to go ahead and reach the arm back up. And then bending the elbow once again. So we're just going to go through these few moves. You can go with the breath. You can go really slow if you'd like to. You can stay in one place for a few rounds of breath if that feels good. Just exhaling here with the elbow bending. And then inhaling down. Exhaling, lift up. And so on. Let's just do one last round on this side. And then we'll go ahead and find our way back to center. So same thing on this other side, reaching the arm up, reaching over, finding a stretch here, and then bending the elbow on an exhale, and then releasing it down. And then back up and bending the elbow. And feeling into what this side feels like. It's possible it feels differently than the first side. So just being aware of that. And then finishing up on this side, go ahead and come back into the seat. The next thing we are going to do is something for the neck. So reaching your left ear towards your left shoulder. You can bring your left hand on your head, or you can bring also your right hand onto your right shoulder. It can also be at one of the other places if that feels too much for you. Feeling a little bit of a stretch here. And then go ahead and come back to center. Right ear to right shoulder for the same thing. You can just stay like this or add the hand. And coming back to center, go ahead and take your chin in some circles. They can be as big or as small as you'd like them to be, and you can go as fast or as slow as it feels suitable in your neck today. And then as you're ready, go ahead and reverse direction. And then finding stillness. Next, we're going to do a little bit of a seated twist. So have your spine be taut. Inhale, both arms up overhead, finding length through the spine. Exhale, twist towards your right. Your right hand is going to be somewhere behind you, and your left hand is somewhere on your right leg. On an inhale, find length through the spine. On an exhale, feel the twist in your mid and upper back region. Inhale back to center. Exhale over onto the other side. Again, inhale, find length in the spine. Exhale, you're spiraling, twisting, feeling in the mid and upper back. And then coming back to center, we are going to find our way into a little bit of a butterfly here. And there's different variations you can do. You can bring soles of the feet together like so, or you can also fold forward. And you can also find what's called turtle. You're going to bring your arms through the legs and really fold down as far as you can. So finding a place that works for you here, and just feeling a little bit into the hips. If you want to have a more active butterfly, you can press the soles of the feet together for maybe 3 rounds of breath or so. And then go ahead and release that, and you may feel your hips open up a little bit more when you do that. So that's also an option just to add to your butterfly. And we'll just be here for maybe 5 more rounds of breath. Again, remembering to really feel into your exhale. Finding your steady inhale, and then noticing your exhale. And then finding your way out of your butterfly, we're going to close the knees together, and we're going to come into our tabletop. So you want to make sure that you are on your hands and knees so that your wrists are beneath your shoulders and your knees are beneath your hips. On an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. On an exhale, round the back and drop the head. Beginning to feel into your spine, into your mid and upper back region here. We'll just do 3 more rounds. And now from here, we're going to do a little bit of a stretch for the shoulders. We're going to thread the needle. Bring your left hand up towards the ceiling, opening up. And then thread the needle. Left arm goes under right. You're going to bring your head to the mat. Your hand can stay by your face. You can bring your hand towards the front of your mat. You can also bring your hand towards your low back as well. Breathing here and feeling into this form. And then slowly find your way out. And now we'll take right hand towards ceiling. And then right arm threads the needle. Find a placement for your hands. Slowly make your way back into your table. We'll do a stretch for the leg. Right foot comes back, tuck the toes, press into the heel. Noticing what's here. Coming back to center, left foot comes back, tuck the toes. Press into the heel, feeling into this other side. Coming back to center. And we'll come into gate pose. So bring your right foot out to the side, toes pointing forward, bringing yourself up. Left hand comes up, nice and long, lean over towards your right. And then we're going to bring that left hand down, and we're going to reach the right arm to the other side. And then we're going to go ahead and slowly find our way back to center, back into table to do the other side. So left foot comes out to the side, find your way up, reaching up, finding length through the right hand. Lean over towards your left. Find your right hand to the ground. Left arm comes up towards the right. Finding your way back to center. And we'll come into a child. So bringing your hips towards your heels. Knees can come wide or they can stay more narrow. And bringing your head to the mat. Arms extend out. Take a moment here to feel into the breath. Finding your natural inhale and exhale. See if you can find a sense of release. Inhale, think about inviting calm throughout the body. Exhale, think about releasing any tension that may be in your body. And we'll find our way back into table. We're going to make our way into standing by coming into a downward facing dog. So make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide, and they can be where they're at, or if you want, you can fan out your fingers so that they're, so your pinky, your ring, and your middle finger are at the edge of the mat and comes off the mat a little bit, whereas your pointer finger and your thumbs are still on the mat. You really want to press down into your knuckles as much as you can to get the weight off the wrist. Tuck the toes, lift the knees 2 or 3 inches just to find a little bit of core engagement here, and then press the hips up and back. So you want to really press your hands into the mat, push the mat away from you, let the top of your head come to the ground as you keep your heart open, a little bit of a cow feeling here as you bring your chest towards your thighs. And then you can think about bringing movement into your lower body. If it feels good, you can kind of shake side to side or bending one knee, straightening the other. More importantly, you just want to find a nice long spine. And then find your still downward dog. From here, we're just going to walk the hands back towards the feet. So you're in a standing forward fold. Take a moment here. You can release your head, shake your head no, nod your head yes, releasing any head or neck tension. Hands can be resting somewhere on the legs, or you can take opposite elbows with the hands. And we'll go ahead and come into standing. So go ahead and just walk your hands up your legs. So now that we're in standing, we're going to do some standing poses. Again, please see if you can really feel into the foundation of the pose, which for standing poses is really just going to be in our feet. And also see if you can use your breath as a way to keep you focused and anchored in whatever pose we do. So we're going to start with our chair pose. So feet are about hip width apart. And if you really want to measure what that is like, it's going to be different for everybody, but one thing that might be fun to try is to take two fists together and place it between the feet. That tends to be approximately where hip width apart is. Not always, but you can always try that just to see. You want to really find your footing here so that you're not too much on your toes, you're not too much on your heels, and you're even in weight into both feet. Press down. Feel strong in the legs, tall in the spine. And then we're going to go ahead and bend the knees and shift the hips back as we lift the arms up. Now, as you do this, you want to invite your knees back. So look down at your knees. If the knees are coming back up, forward towards the toes, you want to really reach the knees back. Keep your core strong. So imagine like you're pulling up in the lower belly as the weight comes into your heels. And breathe. Steady inhale and steady exhale. Go ahead and come out of your chair. Now we're going to find a little bit of balance. We're going to come into tree. So shift the weight into your left foot. Ankle and heel meets. You can stay here. Just want to make sure you open this knee out to the side. You can bring your leg up underneath the knee or even above the knee. Just make sure that you don't place your foot where the knee is. You can also see what you want to do with your hands. Maybe the hands come out, or maybe the hands also come up as well. And then we'll go ahead and release. And we'll try the other side. Weight into your right foot. Ankle and heel meet. Knee comes out to side. Be here or here. If there is something around you to help you keep balance, you can feel free to do that. Like a wall, or a sibling, or a parent, a friend. Just make sure you ask for their permission first. And we'll go ahead and come out. We're going to come into our warrior one. And so you're going to face the short end of your mat. And then you're going to bring your right foot back, a big stance. You want to make sure that your hips are squared. And so when I do this, my back foot, my toes are angled at about 45 degrees. And my front foot, my toes are just facing forward, and my hips are squared. So both my hips are facing forward towards the short end of my mat, towards this direction. And then go ahead and bend your front knee and reach your arms up. Make sure you gently engage the core and pull up in the lower belly. You just really want to make sure that your spine is long and that this low back curve doesn't try to do more than it normally does. Because this low back curve, it's there, but it always likes to kind of do more, and we don't really need it to. We also don't really want it to. So just find a tall spine here. Now we're going to move here. We're going to exhale, straighten the leg, bring the arms down. Inhale, bend the front leg, bring the arms up. Two more times. And we'll go ahead and hold this here. And then we'll go ahead and release. Back foot meets front foot. Next, you're going to bring your left foot back. Big stance. Hips are facing forward. Reach the arms up. Spine is long. Core is slightly engaged to keep the integrity in the low back and the spine. Move through here. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. 3 more times. And go ahead and hold it here. And then go ahead and release. We're going to come into our Warrior 2 sequence. And so make sure that when you do this, that you focus on the feet and really the position of the feet and feeling grounded in the feet. So we're going to take a wide stance. And you want to make sure that all 10 toes are pointing forward. And we're going to take one foot out, my right foot out towards the short end of the mat, turn it out to the side, and go ahead and bend that knee. Make sure you can look down and still see where your big toe is. If you look down and you can't see where your big toe would be, it might mean you need to take a bigger step. And then you also want to make sure that this leg and foot is doing the work as well. So you can just think about gently pressing down into the pinky edge, the outer edge of the foot. Then your hips are going to be aligned with your shoulders, and you're going to reach your arms out. We're going to flip the palms just to keep the shoulders down and relax. And then if you want, you can flip them back over. We're going to gaze towards the arm, the front arm with the front leg here. We'll find a little bit of movement here. Inhale, straighten the leg, bring the hand together. Exhale, opening out. One more time. Now we're going to hold our Warrior 2, strong in both feet, both legs, really feeling grounded here. Feeling into the breath. We're going to find our extended side angle stretch here. So keep your legs exactly the same. Elbow comes to thigh, and then this left arm comes over. Feel into your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Find your way back into Warrior 2. Flip the front palm. Reach back into your reverse warrior. Make sure that your knee is still bent. And then we'll go back through center and straighten the leg, bring the arms down. Pivot for the other direction. Again, same thing here. So this foot pointing forward, this foot pointing out to the side. Bend the knee. Look down, you should still see where your big toe is. You can also really want to think about bending the knee out towards the pinky edge of the foot. Shoulders and hips are in alignment. Reach your arms out. Flip the palms to relax the shoulders, and then flip them back over. And then we'll move. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 2 more times. And then from here, extended side angle stretch. Keep breathing. And then find your way back up. Keep the bend in the knee, flip the front palm, reverse warrior. Feeling the strength in your legs. And feeling into your feet. And the mat or the floor underneath your feet. Come back to center. And we'll release. Pivot so that both your toes are pointing forward. And we're going to keep the spine nice and tall. We're going to come into a wide forward fold. And so the important thing here is that you're going to start by folding in the hips. So just remember to keep that in mind. And you want to keep your spine long as you come all the way down. So let's also bring the arms up and out just to really take up space and feel length through the limbs. And then fold back in the hips. If you need to have a slight bend in the knees here, you can. Go down all the way with the long spine here. And then placing hands wherever is comfortable. It can be towards the floor. Some of you may be able to take your forearms to the floor. You may also want to shift your feet once you get down. You may also want to take your hands down towards your ankles or somewhere on your legs. So find what works for you here. Keep thinking about shifting your sit bones towards the wall behind you. And breathing. Feeling into your feet. See if you can press into the balls of your feet a little bit more just to take the weight off the heels if you're noticing weight mostly comes into heels. And then we'll go ahead and find our way upright. So you can bring the hands to the hips and find a bend in the knees. We're still going to find a wide stance, but not as wide. You can kind of duck walk your feet in so that your feet are wider than hip width apart. Your toes this time are going to point out to the side. Spine is nice and tall. Really zip up in the lower belly. Core engagement here just to keep everything in alignment. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to bring ourselves down while keeping the spine long. Hands can come to heart if you would like, or you can have hands come out to the side. And we're going to move here. So inhale, reach up, and then exhale, come down. Inhale, reach up, exhale, come down. Let's just do 3 more rounds. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Last time. This time we're going to come down and hold it. So bending in the knees. As your knees are, just make sure your knees are tracking over where your toes are pointing at here. Spine is long. Everything here is strong and leveled. And we'll stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you can kind of shake out in the limbs a little bit here. And we're going to make our way onto the mat again. So we're going to find our way there by coming into a forward fold. So you can inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, fold over. Just like how we got up, we were in a forward fold, standing forward fold. And then from here, we're just going to bend in the knees. So you're going to kind of come into a squat, and then you're going to have a seat. And it doesn't really matter how you sit. So the next thing we're going to do is a little bit of movement in the hands. And it is a type of energy work. It's actually a movement from Gong, but personally, I find it to be really calming and really good for the nervous system to do. So we're going to try that. You're going to keep your hands in front of you to start. And then you're going to flip so that one hand is on top and one is on the bottom. And it doesn't really matter which one is on top and which one's on the bottom. And then you're going to slide your hands out to the side and then flip it over again. Slide it over to the other side and flip it over again. You're just going to continue that. So you're imagining like you're holding a ball of energy and you're just flipping it over and over again. And you can pace yourself as fast or as slow as it feels good or interesting to you. But we'll just be here for a little bit to see what this is like. This is called heart hands in Qigong. And then we'll go ahead and come to a pause. We'll do one other thing with our hands before we do other things. You're going to take your hands and you're just going to rub them together, creating some heat. And then we'll go ahead and bring our hands and put it in the low back. And then we'll go ahead and release. And then we're going to bring the legs out long. And you can go ahead and make sure that your feet are flexed so that your toes are up towards the ceiling and pointing back towards you. And you're going to reach your arms up overhead, find length here, and then folding forward. Hands may come down to feet. Hands may come down to ankles or on the ground. You can choose to round your back and drop your head, or you can choose to keep your heart lifted. If you need to have a slight bend in the knees, you can do that as well. So the reason we made sure to bring the hands earlier after we brought some heat and energy into it to the low back is just to give the low back some love, because when we do forward folds, if we aren't careful, it can really be easy to hurt the low back. And so the bend in the knees is also an additional way just to help your low back here from overextending itself. Make sure that you're noticing your breath and finding your steady inhale and your steady exhale. And then we'll go ahead and sit up. We're going to come into a little bit of a twist. So right leg is out long, left foot comes in. It can be here, or you can bring your foot over the leg, and you're going to twist towards the left. Inhale, find length through the spine. Exhale, twist in your mid and upper back region. Excuse me. And then we'll go ahead and come back to center. The leg is long. Right knee comes in or out to on the outside of the leg and twisting towards your right this time. And then finding your way back to center. We're going to go ahead and come onto the belly. Take a moment on the belly to notice what it's like to have the front of the body resting on the mat and all the points of contact there. And then we're going to go ahead and come into our Sphinx pose. So elbows are right beneath shoulders, or maybe you can walk the elbows out an inch or so. Bring your ears away from your shoulders and think about bringing your heart forward. If this hurts the low back, you can bring the feet mat width apart or wider. If this feels too high, you can also adjust yourself so that you're not up as high on your Sphinx by bringing the arms out to the mat width apart. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and lower ourselves down so that the forehead is on, the forehead is on the hands. And then we're going to come into what's called a half frog pose. You're going to bring your knee out to the side from where your hip is at. You can stay here like this, or you can adjust your knee. It doesn't need to come out straight from the hip if it's not as comfortable. You can just continue to breathe and feel into the hip and what you may notice here. You may not notice anything immediately, but the longer we hold it, the more you may feel it when you come out. This is just a very, very passive, very chill hip opener. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten out that leg again and do the other side. Also change the position of your hand. So like for instance, right now my left hand's on top of my right. So I'm going to place my right hand on top of my left. Bring my left knee out to the side. Same thing here. And rest your forehead on your hands. Feeling into this left hip, noticing what's here. Maybe there's a lot more sensation, or maybe there's not a lot of sensation at all. See if you can become aware of where in the body you're noticing sensation and where in the body that there may not be as much sensation. So the sensation of non-sensation. And then we'll go ahead and release back again. And we'll make our way up and back into a child's pose one last time. But we're going to do a little bit of a different variation. So you're going to take your hips towards your heels. Head comes to mat, head or forehead comes to mat. And you're going to take your hands back towards your feet so that your shoulders get to drop in. So you're like a little ball on the ground. Take this moment here to really surrender and feel where the floor or the mat touches your body, points of contact there, and feeling into your breath. Steady inhale and steady exhale. And then as you're ready, go ahead and press yourself back into a seat. We're going to find our way into this position here so we can come onto our back one vertebrae at a time. So hands come out and you're reaching back. Once you're on your back, take a moment to notice what it's like to be on the back. Feeling all the points of contact where your back touches the mat underneath you. Maybe take your hands onto your belly and feel your breath. Notice as you inhale, belly rises. As you exhale, belly falls. We're going to come into what's called half happy baby next. So you're going to keep your right leg where it's at, long, and you're going to hug your left knee in towards your chest, and you're going to bring your left knee out to the side. Then you're going to bring your left foot towards the ceiling. You're going to have your hands be behind your thigh or reach towards your ankle or your foot. And noticing what's here. And go ahead and release. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So left leg stays long, right knee in towards your chest, right knee out to the side. Right foot comes towards ceiling. Your hand is behind your thigh, or you're reaching towards your ankle or foot. And then go ahead and release. Next thing we're going to do here is a little bit of a twist. So hug knees in towards chest. Take a moment here. You can gently rock side to side to massage your lower back and your spine. And then let both knees drop over towards the left as you're doing your arms out into a T or cactus. And look over towards the opposite direction of your legs. So if your left are falling towards the left, legs are falling towards the left, look over towards your right. Gently bring yourself back to center. Take a moment here to hug knees in towards chest. And then as you're ready, knees fall over towards the right. Arms out long, gazing towards your left. And slowly find your way back to center. We're going to do one more thing here before we settle down into our Shavasana. So you're going to go ahead and bring your feet onto the mat. And we're going to bring the feet wide and just let the knees drop in. And then we're going to do some movement here. So we're going to go ahead and bring the knees back, upright, centered. And then we can exhale back in, collapsing in, knees come in to touch. Inhale apart, exhale, center. Just a few rounds here. And just kind of noticing how it feels in the hips when you're moving in this way. And then you can go ahead and stop. And then find your way into your preferred form of Shavasana. So there are a couple ways to make your Shavasana more comfortable that I would like to show you. So the first way is you can have a pillow underneath your head. So I'm using this little blanket as a pillow here. And I'm taking a bolster, so you can take a more firm pillow or maybe even a couch cushion, or you can take two pillows on top of each other. And I'm going to lie down so that the more firm pillow, this bolster here is what it's called, what is used in yoga studios, underneath my knees. And I'm lying down with the blanket or what might just be a regular pillow underneath the head. This can be a really nice position to end your class in, to be in Shavasana, because having that bolster underneath the knees just helps the low back release a little bit more. So this is one place you can be. Another thing you can do for your Shavasana, which I absolutely love, which I like to always tell people that it got me through school, because whenever I was a stressed out mess, this was my go-to yoga pose. I like to do what's called legs up the wall. And so with legs up the wall, it's exactly as it sounds like. What you do is you set yourself up so that your hip is going to be against the wall as close as it can, and you just move so that your legs are up against the wall, but your back is just long on the mat here. If you're using a mat, you don't have to, you're just in your own home. And this is also a really cool place to be because there's different options. The traditional way is just candlestick style where the legs are just long. You can take wide legs if you want to feel more of a stretch in the hips. You can also bring it yourself into a butterfly. So there's different ways to experience legs up the wall, but it's one of the best poses to really help your nervous system calm down and to really just release, especially in the upper body, just really releasing as much as you can and getting good rest here. So finding your way into your preferred form of Shavasana. And you can stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. I recommend staying in it for at least 5 minutes. Shavasana is really important because it's an opportunity to help you not only with your nervous system to really calm down and express, rest, and digest, but it also helps integrate all the movements and the stretching that we did earlier. So once you are in your preferred form of Shavasana, I will guide you a little bit here, taking notice of all the points of contact where your body is touching the props around you. So you may notice your head, neck, back, arms, buttocks, legs, and feet. If you're doing legs up the wall, you may notice the sensation of the legs against the wall. You may notice your face, releasing any tension in your forehead, cheeks, and jaw. Maybe relaxing your tongue, and maybe letting your eyes sink a bit deeper into your eye socket. And giving yourself permission to release here as much as you can. Also take a moment to notice in your mind. Maybe there's some tension there you could release as well, if not anymore in your physical being. And please stay here as long as it serves you. And once again, I just want to thank you for practicing with me. Gratitude to each and every one of you for checking out this video. And please take care of yourself. And please remember to really breathe into your exhale. Bye.